Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET Now, show where we get you stocks that are buzzing on news flow or on technicals. And talking about a stock that's buzzing definitely on news flow right now is NIIT Learning. Look at the stock, a good up move coming in the counter over the last 1 hour or so, and that's because the company has reported a good set of quarterly numbers. To talk more on the numbers, what actually contributed to the quarter gone by, we have Mr. Vijay K Thadani, who is the Vice Chairman and MD at NIIT Learning Systems. A very good afternoon to you, Mr. Thadani. Thank you so much for joining us on ET Now. And firstly, let's talk about the quarter gone by. If you look at your constant currency revenue growth on a quarterly basis, also a healthy number coming in. Your revenues have posted a good growth in the quarter gone by. If you could tell us what exactly contributed to such a performance in the previous quarter?
Okay, so I think in the global uncertainty which exists across the board, I think there is an element of cost optimization which most of the big companies are looking at on one hand. On the other hand, they have a stronger and larger transformation agenda because I think things like generative AI and overall digital transformation have great opportunities. So they want to reskill the workforce as well as cut down their cost structure. And I think NIIT Learning Systems is perfectly positioned to be a very, very reliable partner who can actually help them achieve this, of reskilling their organization as well as transforming the organization as well as making sure that their overall cost structure is well managed. And I think that confidence with the 3 renewals, which make sure that we have 100% renewal track record and the strong confidence of the customer, basically that's what contributed to this growth. I think on our side, we managed our investments and cost structure very well. So I think we came at a higher margin, at a 25% margin, which was 113 basis points quarter on quarter. So I think overall, these are the factors which contributed to. We also have a strong pipeline as we go forward, and I'm sure you may have some questions on that, so I'll wait for that.
Right, sir. But before we come to the pipeline ahead, what I also want to know is in terms of the margins of the company, we are seeing an improvement in the last couple of quarters that you're seeing, and Q4 managed 25% overall in terms of the EBITDA margin, while FY24 was 24%. For 2025, what's the outlook FY25 in terms of the margins, 25, 24% or much higher is what we could expect?
Okay. So I think we are in a growth phase and we are building new capability as we open more frontiers. And during the investment cycle, the margin may vary. And we do believe that the margin will remain in similar levels. By the way, our guidance for the margin has been 20% plus. And last year, we managed our costs well. We did multiple things well. But we have to also invest in new capability and strengthening our market reach because we are now gaining new contracts at a faster speed than before. And I think we have an opportunity to take the leadership position in this space. We are already amongst the top 5. We do want to make sure that we move our positions up front as we move in the global rankings. So I think keeping all this in mind, we do see margins in the same range, but they may be 100, 200 basis points lower than last year, and may as well be in the same year because the certainty in the market will come from the second half of the year, which will determine. So overall, I think our margin trajectory over the period of time will now remain in this 22, 24, 25 range. That's approximately how we are gearing up to this.
Right, so the margin, you are expecting it to be in the range of around 20 to 25% or so, if you could put it in the years to come. But let's talk about the revenue mix, especially when you look at the presentation by the sector. Over the quarters, we've seen that the revenue mix, there is a decline in the tech and the telecom contribution to your revenue mix, while there is a mild bit of expansion coming in the life science and healthcare segment. Are you expecting such a trajectory going ahead as well, the contributions for your sectors? And also, if you could touch upon the order pipeline that you were talking about.
Sure. So, first of all, you are absolutely right in saying, so first of all, let me repeat the margin. I said our margins will remain in 22 to 25% range, depending on the capability investment that we are doing, right? So just keep that in mind. The second thing which you wanted to talk about, technology and telecom. Indeed, the spends of technology companies, I mean, you yourself report that how technology companies have been resizing themselves to look at the new market opportunities on one hand, and yet the euphoria of 2 years back when everybody went and overhired, they are balancing that. So in that, their spends on training have and learning and development have come down. But in my opinion, that's just a balancing mechanism, and it will pass, and they will continue to remain strong contenders and strong business opportunities for a company such as ourselves. On life sciences and pharma is a very, very strong, big stronghold of NIIT and NIIT Learning Systems, and I think we continue to remain so. In fact, we will strengthen this further. We have opened up new areas, and I think in new areas, in whether it is BFSI or energy, I think both are and manufacturing, they are offering great opportunities. And I think the services that NIIT Learning Systems offers, and especially the managed training services, which help the organization to focus on their core business, and we look at the specialized activity of learning and development, I think is finding favor with many companies. Our pipeline is very strong. You refer to that. Our pipeline is extremely strong, and I think you'll begin to see the results of that. And you saw the results of that. We added 11 new contracts. We had a 100% renewal track record. We are sitting on a revenue visibility of 335 million from the contracts that we have. I think puts us in a strong position for the future.
Right, Mr. Thadani, thank you so much for joining in with us this afternoon, talking to us about NIIT Learning's outlook going forward as well as margins. 22 to 25% is the range that we're keeping an eye out on. So thank you so much, sir, for joining in with us. That was NIIT Learning. They reported their numbers. We saw the stock spike up as well.